What up, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Finsterprinter, SoundCloud, SoundClick, and All Points, Game of Thrones. I want to talk about the scene where Daenerys Stormborn, Jomasmo, and Breaker of Chains pretty much dismisses Ser Jorah Mormont, who is a traitor's traitor. He was a traitor in Westeros because he sold slaves because he married one of... Okay, so Jorah Mormont is from Bear Isle. His father is... Actually, Ser Jorah Mormont is Ser Jorah Mormont II. His father was the leader of the Night's Watch until he got killed in, I think, season 4, like episode 3 or something like that. He got pretty much killed at Craster's Keep, Ser Jorah's father. But Ser Jorah Mormont pretty much shamed his name because he was selling slaves. And he was selling slaves because he was married to one of the High Towers. And if you know anything about Westeros lore, one of the High Towers, they're very, very old and rich. They're an old and rich family. And when he married her, she thought she was going to be living it up until she found out how poor the Mormons were. So when they say, and then pretty much he started selling slaves. And when he starts selling slaves, Ned Stark, who's a warden of the North, pretty much said, I'm going to cut your head off. Sorry, it's just the morning. Because that's what the Starks do. They cut your head off if you betray, the North. So pretty much, Ser Jorah Mormont fled from Westeros and ended up with Dany. And he wanted to get back into Westeros. He wanted to go back home, pretty much. So he had to, during the rebellion, pretty much he had to give information about where Dany and her brother were. And so that's what led up to this scene here. Dany is pissed because she really loves Ser Jorah Mormont. And Ser Jorah Mormont actually said he loves Dany. Dany loves Ser Jorah Mormont as in the friend zone. Ser Jorah Mormont actually loves Dany. Like, he really loves Daenerys Stormborn. Like, nobody loves her more than he does. That's why he was pissed in last episode when she was screwing what's the dude's name? Anyway, I forgot his name. So she was like, you don't approve? So, but she's like, hey, I can do what I want. Anywho, this scene here is, for one, Daenerys could have acted it out better. We all agree on that. She's pretty much emotionless. I'm surprised she wasn't crying. There was no tears. She's just hardened. It was kind of an empty scene when it comes to the acting, but except for Ser Jorah Mormont, who actually cried. So the man cried, but the woman didn't. I guess she's a hardened queen now after eating hard, watching her husband die, watching her kid die. I don't know, that would kind of make you hard. But everybody's, I put in the comments that he deserved every bit of it. And people are kind of coming at me like, why does he deserve every bit of it? He protected her. He did this for her. He did that for her. He stopped her from drinking the wine. She found out that he stopped her from drinking the wine because he knew that the wine was poison. Now, you could look at this two ways. Yes, he stopped her from dying, but, however, he stopped her from dying so he can still learn what she's doing. Don't forget when the royal pardon came. You know what I'm saying? Did it come before the wine or after the wine? But nonetheless, even though he was pardoned, he could have still been reporting what she's doing, because remember, she always had plans to return back to Westeros until she got to Meereen. So he could have been a spy all the way up until he realized, you know what? She's she's not going back to Westeros. And don't forget, in the last episode when they had the small council meeting, you gotta link the episodes together. When they said when they had the small council meeting, Varys said that she has 8,000 Unsullied, which are very powerful warriors. They're like the warriors of old geese because they had. Okay, I could get into that, but I'm not going to get into that. But she has 8,000 warriors who even Prince Oberyn said are very impressive on the battlefield. And if you don't know how impressive they are, go into Game of Thrones lore or ask me about them and I'll tell you about them. But nonetheless, she has 3 dragons who are growing larger every year, according to Lord Varys. And she had Sir Jorah Mormont, and she had the best knight of the Westeros realm. Dang it, I forgot his name too. Anyway, the old guy who they kicked off the King's Guard and he got pissed. His name will come to me. But anyway, he's in the scene. And he's in the... Where is he at? Oh, where's he at? This guy here. I forgot his name, but this guy is the best fighter in all of Westeros. When he was younger, he was the best fighter there was. He's only lost once, and he only lost in a joust. He lost in the joust, and it kind of helped kick off the war because he lost to Prince Viserys at the time, and when Prince Viserys unseated him at a tournament, Viserys took the roses and gave it to Ned Stark's sister instead of giving it to his wife. And then people kind of was just like, what's going on? There is a scene of that if you go on Westeros lore. But he kind of considers the whole war, the rebellion that happened, his fault because he's like, I shouldn't have let him unseat me in a joust, and he would have never gave her those flowers, so on and so forth. But what he didn't know is they had already been messing around. Back to these scenes. So all that led up to this. Yes, Sir Jorah Mormont is guilty of being a traitor. Yes, he does love Daenerys. What do you do when your best friend has been betraying you? What do? She did the wise thing. She didn't kill him. She unemotionally let him go. Now, some people would have been like, I would have killed him because he knows too much. You got to understand, he was still reporting to Lord Varys. You got to understand that. Like, some people say I would have killed him. Some people say I wouldn't have let him go. Some people say I would have kept him. You would not have kept him because he was still reporting to Lord Varys. And that's the biggest problem. You don't know whose side he's on. So I just wanted to go through some of that. And, I mean, I could get into more detail on that, but I'm not going to. So I don't want to bore you guys. But, yes, he's still reporting to Lord Varys, even though at the small council meeting, they say that he no longer is a spy for Westeros. They said he is fully committed to Daenerys Stormborn. But you still, like, even they didn't know what side he's on. So now he's a traitor's traitor. And I personally, I don't know if... I would have let him go for sure. But you got to understand, she would not be where she's at if it wasn't for him. No way, no how. All the stuff Jorah knew, he knew how to get her. He knew how to get her to Karth. He knew about the Sea of Bones. He knew all of that. Like, he's her best advisor. He knew all of that. So she is losing somebody who is, like, so valuable to him. So you know, it's a hard way to go anywhere around. It's like, how do you know if he's advising you correctly? Remember, she was getting ready to marry uh one of the king of Karth when he named himself king. I'm sorry, it's in the morning. I can't remember all these names. She was getting ready to marry the king of Karth. He was like, "Don't do that." He's like, "You don't have to get ships by marrying the king of Karth," and that was a smart move because it found out that dude was not he was not the richest man in Karth. You know, it was all a lie. He did not have all of those treasures. And he also murdered the 13, and he's the one who actually took her dragons. So it was a good move not to marry him. I mean, Jorah Mormont has been just on top of it the whole time, so he's a hard person to lose. Anyway, it's your boy Tone 202. It's a hard scene, and I feel sorry for Jorah because he finally did come around to loving Dany and didn't really care about the pardon. But you know, you were a traitor, and you have to leave Marine. It's your boy Tone 202. Let me know what you think.